Hi, everyone. I'm Angelique, and today I'm honored to speak with Miss Opal, who has been deeply involved with AWLN and CSAW and is a visionary behind the Forward Together East Point and Tift site collaboration in East Point, Georgia. We'll discuss the role of intergenerational partnerships in her environmental efforts and how these collaborations have impacted her work in the community. So, Miss Opal, the question I have for you is, how has working with AWLN and CSAW alongside people from different age groups, influenced your approach to environmental stewardship and advocacy in your community?
Okay. Well, I guess I can answer that question with another question like, how hasn't it, impacted the work? For me, I, I got involved in this just from, taking a walk in my community and observing something that was truly troubling to me. And honestly, I didn't know exactly where to go with it. And my um, introduction to AWLN, the Atlanta, oh, the Atlanta Watershed Learning Network. I had a brain freeze there for a second. Has really opened up a lot for me in terms of how to approach getting something done, because it was not enough to be outraged, which I was. Um, it was important to me that something be done about this crazy looking blue, iridescent water that was running alongside elementary schools and children's playgrounds and people's homes and those kinds of things. It just felt so surreal that I couldn't just let it fade off into the ether. And AWLN helped me sort of create a framework on how I was going to attack this issue, and really, you know, uh, helped me to sort of sit down and consider um, who the questions, who is this impacting? How is it impacting folks? And these are my neighbors. These are my neighbors and their families. These are visitors, my guests that come to my home and visit my neighborhood, and I'm always, walking them through my neighborhood so that they can, enjoy where I live as much as I do. These are local public officials who are, in my mind, responsible for ensuring the quality of life of folks in East Point. And I was like, well, don't they know this is here? Do they know this is here? I mean, what are they doing about it? So just having all of these emotions really about this very troubling and out in the open issue really benefited from the time that I spent with AWLN. And the thing about that too was that in terms of talking about working intergenerationally, the cohort that I was a part of was made up of young people, young to me, okay, so people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, that were also interested in doing or working toward doing something in their community to positively impact their community, to address some harm, some negative impact, and turn that around on its head so that folks in their communities could live a better life. So AWN was so instrumental in helping me formulate that path. And then through AWLN, I learned about CSAW, the CSAW program. And that was a whole nother can of worms, because now we're dealing with, folks from all over the country, that are here doing research on the things that are are of interest to me in my community. And they had interest, and they had a mission of doing the research. And this is something that I didn't have the time or the capacity to do while I'm trying to deal with these things, these issues, just on the ground. So it was a perfect collaboration, and working with these young folks, these undergraduates in master's program students, who are in their way, passionate about understanding what this is, what is causing, this issue in this community that would otherwise, either not be able to do anything about it, not think about it, because, people have lives, and, this iridescent blue water, may not seem like a big deal in the scheme of things, until you start thinking about the kinds of physical, potentially mental and emotional impact that something like that might have on a community. My fear was that folks had gotten so used to seeing it that it was not even a thought anymore. And that was not acceptable to me. And thankfully, it also was not acceptable to this group of folks who wanted to find out, well, what was causing this, and what can we do to fix the problem. And this is not something new. I was not the first person to see this happen. There had been people that have been working on this for a while, but when you start dealing with certain entities, certain agencies, etc., the bureaucracy, the red tape can really wear a person down. And I see why sometimes folks, after a while, got discouraged, because just navigating all the various agencies and organizations and tape, and the red tape, and the policies or lack thereof in some cases, all the statutes and codes and all these other stuff can really wear a person down. And so everything moves very, very slowly. And just being able to work with these young people, and it gave me time to focus on my community. I didn't know before getting involved with AWLN and CSAW how to do a water sample. Now I can do that without even thinking about it, but I didn't know how to do that. And then, the concern that I had and continue to have, even though it's becoming less of a concern because I'm working with such great folks, is then, so we take the water sample, how do we get it tested, and how do we get the data? Data was very important to me. It still is very important to me. Data. That's what everybody wants in order for us to prove that there is something to be concerned about. And I think that that is also a concern, an issue that really gets me seething, is that we always have to prove that we are being harmed. This is like a lack of belief. And I didn't have to go through all of that with AWLN or CSAW. They were like, okay, you believe there's something wrong? Let's find out what it is. And, and I think that being able to work with so many different types of people from different backgrounds, different interests, with different knowledge base, um, you know, just enriches the process that much more. So, yeah, it's been great working with, it's intergenerationally, also culturally. It's just a great deal of diversity within the the collaboration. And I just believe that it helps to really enrich the entire process. So it's been good. And I'm
Wow.
looking forward to more of it. Because this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's plenty more to do. And I'm, looking to these organizations to help me accomplish the work that needs to get done. And, the community, it's just been so instrumental in helping direct that process with their questions and their discernment, and just holding us all accountable for making sure that this gets addressed and doesn't get swept back under the rug just for sheer um out of sheer frustration. So yeah.
Yes, wow. Miss Opal, thank you for bringing your powerful experiences to this conversation. It's very evident that the Forward Together, East Point, and Tift site collaboration has had a tremendous impact. And your story about working with different generations is both uplifting and enlightening. Your approach to fostering unity and resilience in your community is something that we all can learn from. So, thank you so much for your tireless efforts, your leadership, and for sharing this meaningful part of your work with us today. We're so grateful.
As am I.